Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Bundi. I'm also known as the Wellness Doctor. Today I wanted to talk about something that's close to the hearts of many women, and that's postpartum depression. I'm joined by two amazing ladies. I'll let them introduce themselves and then we can just start off the conversation. So we'll start off with the lady in yellow.
Hello, my name is Mahani, and I am a talent manager come marketing consultant, and I'm a mommy of two. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. And the lady in, is that red or brown? Am I colorblind?
Even I don't know. I think it's brown. So I'm Dr. Stephanie Wakaba. I'm a pediatrician in training, and I have a small spot in Instagram called Toto Talk, where we discuss things about the children from the time before they're born until 18. We're hoping to bring in more consultations with different practices, which is why we're here with Bundi today. She's psychiatry, I'm pediatrics, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, ladies. The conversation today is, as I said, postpartum depression. And because I'm not a mother, I wanted to bring on people who have gone through it, motherhood, to kind of get their perspective, because that's really important. So, not so fun fact, most women go through what we call baby blues. If I'm not wrong, it's about 90% of women go through baby blues. And these usually start first couple of days after delivery. So that's about 6 days after delivery. And it's characterized by sadness, emptiness, tearfulness. You just find you're tearful, you're irritable. And this is something that many women go through, but the conversation is not normalized. I just wanted to find out from you guys, is this something you've experienced, the baby blues?
Unfortunately, yes. And the thing they don't tell you when you have your child is the roller coaster of emotions that come with it. So for a very long time, I didn't have a name for it. I'm a trained psychologist, by the way. I did not have a name for what I was feeling, what I was going through. I just knew I felt lost and overwhelmed, but because I was constantly on the go, like there's no real time to stop and say, I can assist skills, really. You know what I mean? Because the baby needs you, the baby's sleeping at intervals of 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So they're always, basically always awake, right? So I didn't notice that there was anything wrong with me until my mom started prompting me, are you okay? You don't look like yourself. Have you showered today? You know, small things like that. I'm like, okay, I don't remember the last time I showered. So I began to feel like, okay, my mom is saying something is wrong, something must be wrong, because my mom knows me. So, but I didn't consciously make an effort to interrogate this thing until my daughter went to school. So she went to school, my husband has gone to work, and I'm home by myself. Because I had quit my job to raise my daughter. So I was home for 3 years. So now what do I do with myself? I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I had lost touch with so many of my friends. I had lost touch with so many of them. Even music, like I didn't even know what I liked. I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I would be singing when I'm working, you know, before baby, because that's how I was. But after baby, even singing in the shower, I didn't sing. So I had just completely disconnected from the person that I was. So I had now having those conversations with my mom and having them with my husband helped me realize that I needed to be a bit more deliberate about taking care of myself. So now taking those small steps to do things that are mommy-centric helped me now reconnect with the person I am. I had to change a lot of things because I I don't like this thing about myself anymore, so okay, replace. But in that space, there's no real so everybody focuses on you've had a baby. Everybody comes to see the baby. Everybody comes to shower the baby with love and needs. But we also just gave birth for mom. We also just had a mother who is helping mom, who is having the conversation with mom for, okay, and you will feel like this, and your emotions will be all over the place because it's hormonal. Because nobody has a conversation class. Like even if you go for Lamar's class, we focus so much on pushing and delivery and your spouse being there for you, but there's no real tools that we give moms that help them consciously deliberately do things that help them stay safe, for lack of a better term, right? So I had to learn, right? I wouldn't advise anybody to learn the way I learned because it was a long, agonizing process. But I feel like had I been brave enough to ask for help, like professional help, it would have put my journey a lot better. Like I would have been able to put into context, into words, unpack how I feel if I had somebody who had a name for what I was feeling present in the room. Because even my family, they never ever said, even the day I did, because I didn't have, sorry, my thoughts are all over the place.
It's okay.
The day I did an article with a friend of mine for the paper is the day we gave how I felt at me. I'm like, all these things you're talking about is exactly how I felt. So this is what I had.
And that's
Because
why
we had never given it a name.
That's why I wanted to do this video, and I want somebody maybe who's watching to be able to realize this is what I'm going through. So in fact, as you were speaking, I was just checking off all the symptoms. You know that thing of the things I like doing, I don't even like them anymore. That's called anhedonia. Like you lose pleasure in the things that normally give you pleasure. They don't even give you pleasure anymore. But there are other things like not being able to sleep well, even when your baby is resting, not eating well, a feeling of worthlessness, hopelessness, and now to the extreme end, being suicidal. So I feel like the more we have these conversations, the more we can help somebody who's there and they're like, light bulb moments, this is what I'm going through. But I like something you talked about is seeking help. Because sometimes support system is great, trying to do it by yourself is great, but sometimes you need to talk to somebody. And that's why I would advocate for any mom, even if it's your first pregnancy or your second or your third, just have a few sessions of therapy during pregnancy, after pregnancy, maybe even just 2 sessions. You really need someone to unpack, offload, and just let those feelings out. And the thing about therapy is it's a space where we can screen you and we can find out, okay, now this one is severe, right? And I think that's why I wanted to have Steph on here, because as a pediatrician, I know you guys follow up mom and the baby. What do you think are some of the things that you guys can do to catch this thing early?
So during the screening period, when we're seeing the baby, usually see the baby about 6 weeks after birth. If there's no complications, that's assuming your baby is doing what we say fine, normal baby. Most of the time it can be quite short because you're coming in for vaccinations and we want to do maybe another test for HIV. We're screening for other bodily things. And it's very baby based. So the time issue, so one thing we can do is maybe give a bit of leniency for the first visit after the hospital. And not just focus only on getting things done for the baby, but also now have sectioned out time for the mother. Where we find out how was the birth process. Was it a birth that you expected? I mean, how many of us know of mothers who went in hoping to push water bath, just like my first time, and things go wrong. So some of these things are triggers where you're already feeling, a mother can feel guilt because of the birthing process, saying my body didn't work the way it did, there's something I could have done. Then maybe your baby came in early and had to go to the NICU. I mean, preemie mothers go through a lot. That's something else that we need to focus on. So there's a red flag on a mother already. Sometimes we need to spend more time on that mother and think more of not just a child's doctor, but a family doctor approach. So I know that there's screening tools, And my hope is that we can use that more often, especially during the first few visits.
Exactly. Yeah. The screening tool that I came across is called the Edinburgh screening tool. It's just a bunch of 7 questions that the doctor asks the patient, and it's very objective because I think asking a mom, "How are you?" she'll always say, "Fine, I'm good, I'm hanging in there, I'm trying to be strong," because there's this external pressure that mothers need to tough it out. But with a proper screening tool, I think it's very objective so that we can be able to catch this thing very early. But also, something you mentioned is mom guilt. Mom guilt is usually, especially around the situation of breastfeeding your baby. And sometimes we've made mothers feel like if you don't breastfeed your baby, you failed as a mom. Have you guys gone through mom guilt?
I think it's a rite of passage. So
That's so wrong.
no,
It's
so
so wrong.
No, we're laughing because it's familiar. I think moms are taught to downplay the severity of how they feel. And so with my first one, I was able to breastfeed without much complication. So there was a latching in the beginning, the kawaida starting problems. But now when I had my second one, she wouldn't latch. I didn't have milk. And I remember feeling like my body was letting me down. Like it wasn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then this was affecting my child. But because I had been through postpartum depression with my first one, and I was present in the moment, and I'm learning to be kinder to myself and to be very aware of things that moms go through that I don't have to go through, I packed formula to go into hospital. Shamelessly. Because I just didn't want to be in that situation where my body lets me down and then I don't have food for my baby. And then I have to rely on the hospital to give me food for the baby. I didn't want to be in that situation.
Almost begging.
Yeah, I didn't want. Because the hospital won't willingly give you formula for the baby when they're trying to get you to breastfeed. They won't. And it's because that's policy, that's the training, that's the baby still, that's the milk will come. But for how long?
Yeah.
And the longer it takes to come, the more tense I am. The more tense I am, the more unhappy I am, the less willing, the less cooperative my body is. Because now I'm under pressure, right? And my baby, the more my baby cries, the worse it gets. So I learned to release myself from those things because I was like, what I want is a fed baby.
Yeah.
Right? I want a healthy baby. And there's nowhere that has been written that formula kills babies. So my baby is going to be fine.
Yeah.
So if my body is not cooperating now, there's no saying that it won't cooperate tomorrow. But now I'm giving my baby formula.
Wow.
And I remember having the back and forth with the pediatrician for, no, I wish you didn't give the baby formula. I wish you just put the baby on the breast. I'm like, I did for an hour and nothing is happening. So I give her formula. Because it's normally, at the beginning, it's only like 30 ml. It's not very much. It's very little formula. But that's what the baby needs. I was like, I'm going to be this stressed because my baby needs 30 ml of milk. No, I can't. If my body is not working, and not after CS because of all the medication you're going through, your body is just going, it's doing a lot of things, trying to heal. I was like, no, I'm going to put if this is what it means to put my baby first, that's what I'm going to do. So I released myself very early with my second one. Yeah, my first one didn't have a lot of formulas instead. But my second one, I was like, there's no trophy. And there's no special school for formula fed babies and breastfed babies. Imagine it's okay. I'm just going to feed. What I'm doing is I'm feeding my baby. I'm feeding my baby.
As a feast, what do you think about that?
I'm very conflicted, I have to say. It's important for people to understand the history behind pushing breastfeeding. There was a time long ago when, not very long ago, and it's more so in Europe and the United States, where we had med reps or formula companies that produce formula would give a mother a hamper bag when they were in the hospital. And it would be full of formula and all that. And then, of course, the history of there being more working mothers in time. And then later on, now the cosmesis of it all. So what happened is that they noted that quite a lot of preventable diseases could be stopped, or at least prevented, like I said, by breastfeeding. So this included pneumonia and diarrhea. Then come now to the third world, where water is, and formula is expensive.
Yeah.
So it was really, it's really pushed, especially in the developing countries, because there's a lot of choice. People, empowerment is good. So people have decided, some people have decided formula is a bit better. But here, it has been quite a solution for us because it's also economically friendly to breastfeed. Now, then we've done studies on breast milk where the milk in the first few days has, immunogenic, powers, and then you have a lot of, it's very, what we call superfood for the baby and everything.
Yeah.
But I feel there's a lot more we can do as doctors, as nurses, as lactation specialists. Really, what I'm hearing is a call for more support for mothers. One, we should not assume because you had a baby before that you can have easy latching.
Yeah.
I mean, why? So because you did it before, how many years has it been since? And another thing is, I come for my ward round, I see with your baby, I see, baby is latching. I've checked in, I only need maybe 5 to 10 minutes to see if you're latching well. And that can be enough to make me think, mom and baby are fine. But I don't know the in-betweens. And that happened for me. Yeah, my teacher, I'm a pediatrician in training. So my actual teacher, who probably doesn't remember me, she tested my breastfeeding by just coming, I remember I'd struggled for hours. My baby was not sleeping and I had had a natural birth. I was just one of those textbook. I was really lucky. So she came and asked me, are you having problems? I said, yes, my baby's not sleeping. She's really, I had nipple tenderness, I was cracking. And I didn't know if I was doing it right, because she was really, when she latched, she was really sucking, but she was never full, I could tell. So she just came and pressed me once and milk squirted. She's like, you have milk, bye. I think we're harder on our patients when we know that they're doctors, or we know that they're medical specialists. As in, she's like, yeah, you're fine. What are you complaining about? Just work on it. Just work harder. I mean, we tell mothers that, just work harder. So it continues a spiral of guilt where we make it worse, especially for someone who's not feeling better. So honestly, before we discharge a patient, we check them out with the gynae, which is good. We check them out with the pediatrician, but I think we should check them out with a psychiatrist as well, or a psychologist or a counselor. It should be something that is done preventatively, not waiting for, now she's going around, she's talking about killing herself, or now she's thinking about killing her baby, because we know there's also postpartum. You can have psychosis, isn't it?
Yes.
You're hearing, women have said they're hearing voices in their head saying, just end this, just spare your children, just end it for both of you. So we wait for that. That is the red flag. If we wait for that now.
Absolutely. I completely agree with everything you both said, that as doctors we need to do better. It needs to be a multidisciplinary approach, because most of the time the mother won't tell you, I'm going through this, I'm struggling. It's you to take the initiative and to ask some really hard questions. But another aspect of mom guilt I wanted to bring out was the working mom. What kind of guilt does she go through?
Okay.
Go.
Yeah. So I pointed, there was once during the breastfeeding week, which I totally advocate, but of course, all things in perspective. Yeah, so during the breastfeeding week, I asked a question on my page in Instagram about the months. If you had more than 3 months of maternity leave, would you feel like your career was in jeopardy? And I had a few responses where some ladies who've actually not gotten a baby yet, some have, and they think, I'm not really sure about my job security because I have 3 months. Even in just those 3 months, if I have them, I'm lucky enough to have them, I come back, I'm not sure I'm going to have my chair waiting for me. I have so much catching up to do. Some people have project by project basis work, and other people are getting appraised while you have no appraisal because you've not been doing work. So you want to add it for 6 months. I mean, in heaven, in some utopia, that would be good, but not here. And then on top of that, recently we had some legislation on lactation and provision of lactation rooms, but I think there's a lag in the process of implementation. Some people just don't have lactation rooms. So I've been in pregnancy worrying about my maternity leave, if I'm going to keep my job. Then I come back and I'm trying to maintain milk supply for my child. And then I don't have a place to do that while I'm at work. So I don't have any time to go pump. I have no designated area. And you know, we all know that bathroom becomes a designated area. Yani choo. And I have no place to store my milk. All while I'm trying to keep it together. Whether I'm the first time mother, second time mother, in fact, there's someone who said, I don't think I'm going to get a baby for a while, Steph. I really struggled, especially at work. So if there are no policies in place, we talk about it, but we're not implementing it. We are putting a mother more at risk for having postpartum depression.
Yeah. Wow, this is such good insight for me because in as much as I'm not a mom, I care about you, right? And we're working together. So even when you take a break, to go express, I think now I'm going to be more patient because it also comes from your colleagues. Some of these things, it's not necessarily your employer. Sometimes it's your colleagues looking at you in a funny way because you've gone to express. Yeah, sometimes it's your colleagues who are saying, why can't you go for the out of town job just because you're a mom, you know? So I think it starts with all of us, even before it gets to your employer. It starts with your co-workers. Let's try and be a bit more, let's have empathy because it could be me next. It could be me who's going through this next. It could be your wife or your sister, yeah? So I really appreciate that kind of insight. I just also wanted to move over to, we've talked a lot about breastfeeding, and I wanted to ask, as a mom, and when you're going through all those changes, like the physical changes, how does it feel like? Do you feel like you're losing a sense of self? Because I remember reading through the changes I go through in pregnancy, the stretch marks, the weight gain most of the time, the darkening of the neck. Like I remember reading so many of those symptoms in undergrad and thinking, wow, like mothers go through a lot. Did you guys go through these physical changes and how did you handle that?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable, but I don't know. Did you feel like you ever had the time to really look back and say, I miss my old body? I don't know whether there's a real I don't know if there's a real window to do that. When the kids are older, is when now you're like, okay, maybe I need to go back to the gym. Maybe I need to start eating better. Because like now I'm doing those things, I'm trying to eat better. But there was no real conversation for I don't like you know you don't like how you look, so you can dress very differently. Like your clothes are looser fitting, you're not trying to show a lot of skin because you don't feel comfortable. But it's not a mental, I don't know if the coin drops at that point. It comes a lot later. People now start telling you, hey, the baby is big, you can't call this baby weight. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, yeah, maybe now I need to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
But there's no real space in motherhood to say, and then let me take care of myself. So even now when I see other moms like on social media who have worked out through their pregnancy,
to say that
are working out after, like their snapback is real, like changing nutrition, being deliberate about those are not things maybe when I was having my kids. Those are not things I had considered when I was having my kids. So now those things, had they been put to me like on paper, maybe I would have been a bit more deliberate, even about how I ate when I was pregnant, you know, those things. But because you're pregnant, you're eating for two. Hurrah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cold stone daily, you know what I mean? Because there's no real conversation about nutrition and how it's going to affect your baby and how it's going to affect you after, especially if you're having a child after having, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no real conversation about it. There's no real time to have it. Yeah, so I'm glad these spaces need to be created about it. So that then you can have that conversation. And if somebody is pregnant, they're like, okay, yeah, maybe now I need to reconsider how it's cheating my body now because it has an effect. Because you add 20 kgs, the baby comes on to 4. So what's left the other kg?
So I'm so grateful for, first of all, Steph, for being here, because I think when you're managing a mom, when a mother is being born, I think it should be a multidisciplinary approach, not just your obs-gyn and your pediatrician. I would love for a mental health specialist to be there to prevent the severe forms of postpartum depression. One of the most severe ones is called postpartum psychosis, and this is where the mother loses touch with reality. She can start getting hallucinations, delusions. This is where moms start feeling suicidal or trying to harm the baby. So I feel like if doctors were to work together, we wouldn't get to that point. We don't have to get to the point where we're coming in to now put the mom on antidepressants. If we could do therapy during and after the pregnancy, there's a chance we could save these mothers from getting postpartum depression. So I'm so glad that we came on here. I just wanted to, as we wrap things up, if you can just tell me one thing that you think we can do better as medics. What's one thing that we can do better? Because like I mentioned, is if we can all come together and manage the mom. What do you think is one thing we can do for the mom?
one thing that's easy and cost effective is screening. I mean deliberate screening. And part of that screening, or part of the continual checkups we do with our children and mothers, should include incorporating the mother's emotional well-being in the visit. Meaning, we shouldn't blame mom. I think that's another thing I've learned from today. If baby is sick, yes, mom and the home environment can contribute to it, but we do no help by making the mother feel guilty. No matter where you practice, this should apply.
Wow. Noni, I thank you so much for sharing your personal experience, and I just wanted you to send a message to a mom out there who's watching and who after this video is realizing that she has postpartum depression. What would you like to say to her?
You're not alone. In as much as in this time presently you might feel like you aren't alone. And actually, can I switch it up? Instead of talking to the mom, I'd like to talk to people around her. Because a lot of the times the mom doesn't know that she's going through this thing. And as much as you want to tell us to ask for help and to reach out, sometimes it's not possible. Because we don't know, we don't have the vocabulary for it, we're not present in that moment enough to say, I'm not okay, I need help. So I think it's important for the people around you to persist. Not just to ask you one time, are you okay? Do you need help? Can I take over the baby today so she can sleep? Not just once. You know, and it's in the little things. Persist in the little things. Because once mom has time, even just a little bit of time away from baby, she'll begin to see. Because sometimes we can't see past the things that baby needs. But if you continue to persist and ask this individual who's in your life what they need from you and how you can help, you might get your head bitten off once or twice. But imagine, don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Persist. Keep asking. Keep being there. Because sometimes you don't even need to say something to somebody. The fact that they're home, helping with the baby, helping meal prep, helping mix the formula, whatever it is you can do. If you can be physically present and physically available to this person, it might take you longer than you want or you have, or the time that you have. But imagine putting that time. Because honestly, if my people hadn't consistently asked if I was okay, or if I needed help, or if I wanted to talk, we probably would have been saying a totally different story now. So it's for the people around you to consistently surround you, consistently ask, consistently support. Because then in those small acts of kindness, hopefully, mommy is able to then ask.
Wow. That's such a powerful message. Let's not be those guys who go to visit their baby alone. Let's visit also mom. And I think also in that same breath, let's not, if you're not very close with your mom, don't visit newborns before they're 3 months old. I feel like you're just going to be a burden. Now the mom has to figure out, what am I cooking for you? And you're really adding very little value. Unless you're in a circle, you're going, and your visit is not you going to sit waiting to be served mandazi and tea. Your visit is, how can I help? Let me watch the baby today. You go take a nap. If you can't do that, maybe just stay away, make a phone call. Because sometimes I feel like visiting becomes a burden for the mom. Yeah. But yeah, so you guys, I feel like this conversation.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Moms, imagine it's okay to say no to visits. Because we're not told that.
Yeah.
Home is your sanctuary. Home is your safe space. You can't say no to a visit and say, this is not a good time. Can we plan for another time? I'm not in a good space. We haven't adjusted. Sometimes it doesn't need a reason. Imagine no is an answer.
Yeah.
I tell my kids all the time, no is an answer. It doesn't need an explanation, it doesn't need support. No is an answer.
Yeah.
So it should be okay for you to tell people, no, you can't come now.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Guys, I feel like we can talk about this topic, but I feel like we've covered most of the bases. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Once again, thank you so much to Noni and Steph for agreeing to come here and to share. I really hope this resonates with you. Please let me know in the comment section whether you've gone through this, what your experience has been like. If you have any questions, I'd really welcome those. And yeah, thank you so much for subscribing, for your support. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.